$500 billion are gone. Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here. And in today's video, ever since the inauguration of President Donald Trump, over $500 billion of market capitalization have vanished. Today, I'm going to be explaining to you exactly why a $500 billion has vanished from the cryptocurrency space ever since the inauguration of President Donald Trump, and the answer is not what you think. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and dive right on into it. Welcome to your daily crypto weather report. Today I'm going to be explaining to you exactly why Bitcoin has dropped back below $100,000 and exactly why Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space has lost so much wealth ever since the inauguration of President Donald Trump. I'm going to go ahead and not be like a lot of other YouTubers and try and clickbait you and drag you along. I'm going to explain to you right here at the front exactly why that's happening. People are bored. Number one, we have seen a huge amount of developments happen over the last 3 weeks ever since the inauguration of President Donald Trump on January 20th. Many of those have had to do with other issues besides cryptocurrency, such as the border, such as tariffs, such as international relations between the United States and Mexico, the United States and Canada, the United States and the Eurozone. We've seen a huge amount of news coming from all over the place, especially right now with Doge. We see a lot of news coming out about U.S. aid and how that's being basically completely annihilated, how we had 14,000 employees, now we have 294 employees. We've seen how there have been, different government agencies funding Politico and BBC and Wall Street Journal and New York Times. And so the media, mainstream or alternative, is not focusing on Bitcoin right now. It's really not focusing on the strategic Bitcoin reserve. In our echo chamber, it's really easy for us to think, oh my gosh, the whole world's talking about Bitcoin right now, but they're really not. The whole world's talking about Elon Musk, thinking that he's, either he's White House IT or he is the next coming of Hitler. And so there's a lot of distractions going on in crypto right now. And so that's a big part of the reason why Bitcoin has lost so much of its value and why so much of the wealth in the cryptocurrency space has evaporated. But that is not going to continue. This drop in Bitcoin is an excellent opportunity for us to increase our holdings, and I'm going to show you exactly why. On January the 20th, 2025, we saw the cryptocurrency market capitalization rally all the way up to $3.7 trillion. As of today, we stand at $3.2 trillion. And a major reason why this is happening is because of the boredom from the rest of the space that we're talking about. There are really three classes of people in the crypto space right now. Number one, you have the retail, you and me. And for the most part, the retail is inexperienced. Maybe the word noob comes to mind, and they really don't know what's going on. All they know is that $500 billion is gone. You probably are a member of the retail. You clicked on this video like, oh my gosh, yeah, $500 billion is gone. What happened? And people are freaking out. People are incredibly scared, and they don't see the writing on the wall. They don't see that there's like 22 different states right now that are racing towards a strategic Bitcoin reserve. They don't see that it just passed the House in Utah. It's going now to the Senate. They don't see all of the development and adoption going on. They don't see the new cryptocurrency czar, David Sachs, talking about how Bitcoin is a better store of value than gold. They don't see all the talk about converting $600 billion worth of United States gold reserves into Bitcoin reserves. They don't see all of that. They just see that price goes down. They just see the memes that, oh, well, Bitcoin's under $100,000, so time to put on my apron and go work at McDonald's. And so they're freaking out, and so they are, unfortunately, a lot of them are selling. The second class of people in the cryptocurrency space right now are the governments of the world. Governments of the world are racing hand over foot to get into cryptocurrency right now because of what we've talked about for a very long time. Bitcoin is a better version of gold. And we have known for thousands of years that a fiat currency simply does not stand the test of time. It may be good at being a unit of account. It may be good at being a medium of exchange, but fiat currencies are fundamentally incapable of being store of value because they are manipulated by man instead of having their value determined by the physical scarcity and the laws of nature. So Bitcoin is a natural replacement for gold in every single nation's reserves around the world. And this second class of people that are in the cryptocurrency space are the governments of the world. They realize that an arms race is kicking off right now, and so they are all racing, whether it be state governments or federal governments, they are all racing to acquire Bitcoin on the national level. We even got news yesterday that of the $2 billion in the state pension funds in Michigan, $9 million of those dollars are invested in the Bitcoin ETF. So actually, you could say that Michigan was the first state to formally invest in Bitcoin through its pension funds. They bought the Bitcoin ETF. Now, the third class of people are the institutions. These institutions also understand that the future has a big letter B on it, and they are acquiring Bitcoin at a remarkable rate. You have MicroStrategy rebranding to Strategy B. You have BlackRock buying $600 million worth of Bitcoin over recent days. You have over $30 billion in the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency ETFs, which some of that is retail, but a lot of that are much larger institutional holders. So of these three classes of people, there's only one group of people that do not understand what's about to happen, and that's the retail. And since the retail is probably who clicked on this video, I want to explain to you exactly why this $500 billion evaporating is not a bad thing. It's actually the best setup you're ever going to get for the rest of the history of cryptocurrency from here on. Before I show you on the chart exactly why that's true, I want to give you one phrase that pretty much tells you the entire reason I love technical analysis. If we do not understand history, we are doomed to repeat it. And the inverse of that is that if we do understand history, we have the ability to either repeat it or not repeat it based on the understanding that we have about the past. That leads us well into our technical analysis. There is no shadow of a doubt that this is the largest bull market that Bitcoin has ever entered. Bitcoin has 7x'd and added over $1.5 trillion in market capitalization, but it's tiny compared to its predecessors. The previous bull markets in Bitcoin's history have led Bitcoin in far larger returns and far farther into the future than we have right now. These vertical blue lines represent the elections in the United States. Bitcoin generally rallies for at least 380 days after an election. The United States presidential election was only 93 days ago. It is also important to note that this election is a fundamentally different election than anything that we have seen in recent memory. This election brought with it a president and an entire executive branch, and frankly, an entire Congress, more or less, a majority in Congress that is very pro-cryptocurrency. So that 400-day post-election cycle might be out the window in favor of a longer bull market, since the halving is getting less important and the United States federal government is far more bullish on Bitcoin than we've ever seen before. So why in the world over this time period right here has Bitcoin lost hundreds of billions of dollars of value and the entire cryptocurrency market lost $500 billion in market cap? Because Bitcoin needed to consolidate. From bottom to top, this rally was 110% in size. Within 136 days, Bitcoin added over $1 trillion in market capitalization. The entire cryptocurrency space added over $1.5 trillion in market capitalization. That was all in the same time that the United States stock market rallied 6.5% in 80 days. An enormous rally for the United States stock market, but ever since that rally concluded, US stocks have completely stalled. It is safe to say right now that US equities, along with risk-on assets that are largely traded in the United States, like Bitcoin, are on pause right now because the world is debating whether or not the tariffs that Donald Trump are proposing are going to work, whether or not Doge is going to work, and whether or not we're going to see a bullish economy under President Donald Trump. He's got a lot of promises, a lot of interesting things have happened in the first 3 weeks, but ultimately, anytime government does anything, you generally are going to have to wait 3 to 6 months to see the actual impact of what government did. So we're still mostly living in an economy that was driven by Bidenomics, that was driven by the former administration. Right now, we are transitioning into being able to say, yeah, this economy is because of Donald Trump and the leadership in the White House right now. But we still do not very confidently see what the current administration's policies are going to do for United States economy. And so with that in mind, stock market is sideways because people aren't really sure if they want to deploy money into a market that they don't know whether it's going to be a massive bull market or massive recession. And so the reason that Bitcoin has stopped and stalled is because US equities did the same thing. In 10 days, US equities lost 3.53% of their value. Considering the current United States S&P 500 market capitalization is approximately $50 trillion, a 3.5% drop from that is almost $2 trillion wiped out in 10 days. So from a market cap standpoint, we've got a crash on Bitcoin that seems large in our perspective, but is actually only 1/4 the size of the US stock market crash, even though US equities only represent 1/4 of global equity markets, which means that we probably lost well over $8 trillion in the last 30 days, that Bitcoin has lost its $500 billion. So it's really not as big of a correction as you think. $500 billion seems like a lot of money, and it is a lot of money. I think any of us would be very pleased to have $500 billion show up in our IRS refund check. Hopefully we'll all be getting one of those after we see where all of our money's been going. But it is still freaky for the retail, which is why I'm talking to you. So should we be scared about this? No. Bitcoin is simply going through a very similar correction that we saw here in summer of last year. Bitcoin had extremely bullish news, just like it has recently, pro-cryptocurrency executive branch. We had news that the Bitcoin ETF was launching. January 11th, I think it was, or 10th, we saw it launch, saw an immediate correction, but we ended up rallying over 52%, which added over $500 billion of market capitalization into Bitcoin. And then Bitcoin, after that movement, needed to consolidate because in the span of 182 days, it tripled in scale. In 182 days, it rallied $50,000. Well, in this case, Bitcoin rallied $56,000 in 136 days. Farther rally, shorter time, indicating that we need a correction that looks kind of like what we saw last summer. And that's exactly what we're getting right now. So far, this cup and handle formation that's being built looks an awful lot like the cup and handle formation that we built here at the first half of this consolidation pattern. It's very possible that we see this back half happening soon, and we could trade sideways and lock in these gains that we have acquired over the last 4 months for the next few months. It is also, however, a very bullish sign that we do actually have a slightly higher high up here. The only concern technically is it actually represents bearish RSI divergence here on the daily chart, indicating more correction. Over the last couple of weeks, we have seen Bitcoin drop below the 20 daily exponential moving average right here, and we've also seen Bitcoin RSI drop below 50, indicating that the bears are in control. We've seen our very own crypto Jeb oscillator go through a major correction right here, and we can also see that MACD is confirmed bearish and has been ever since late January. If we draw a Fibonacci retracement off of our recent correction, then we can see that Bitcoin is currently bouncing right above the golden pocket at 0.618 to 0.65 here right at $96,000. However, the 0.5 level is sitting here at roughly $100,000, which is meaning that Bitcoin is stuck right now between 96 and 100,000. Therefore, this range right here is our support architecture between $95,500 to $96,000 and $100,000. We currently are testing that range to see if we're going to be able to hold, break back up above $100,000. If not, we will likely fall back down here to 0.786, which sits at $93,000, which also represents local support that we had built back here before the inauguration in December. And if we don't hold $93,000, we could drop all the way back down to this correction's bottom, which is currently sitting at $88,000. Yes, if this market drops down to 88, you are going to see some serious crap, but it doesn't mean that you have to be in serious crap. Instead, it can be an excellent buying opportunity for you, the investor. We just put more money into the market here at about $96,000, $97,000. And as you guys know, we dollar cost average a significant amount of Bitcoin every single day, because I don't want to think like the retail that doesn't have any clue what's coming. I want to think like the governments of the world and the institutions of the world that know where Bitcoin is going, and they know that it's going into a massive bull market, and that massive bull market is right around the corner. Most people are predicting over $200,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2025, myself included. I'm expecting us to rally up to at least $250,000 this year, certainly by the end of this bull market, which may push into 2026. I believe by 2030, you're going to see Bitcoin trading between $500,000 and $1 million. And I also believe by 2040, you're going to see Bitcoin trading between $2.5 to $4 million per coin. So I'm very excited that Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency space just lost $500 million, sorry, $500 billion, we're in the big leagues now, $500 billion of market capitalization, because it means that I get to acquire Bitcoin at a lower price, lowering my average cost basis, meaning that in the long run, I will actually have an even higher return on my Bitcoin because we have cash and we can deploy it. So if you have not applied the wisdom of financial sovereignty and put your life in order, you've not gotten out of all of this nonsensical consumer debt, you have not put a budget together so you understand where all your money is going, you are living on more than you make, and you need to change that. If you are not being generous, if you are not saving and investing, if you are not working your tail off like the ant does to store up food in the summer so they have food for the winter, as it's talked about by Augur in Proverbs chapter 30, then you need to do that. Right now is summer. Right now is the time to be shooting seeds down into the ground so that when a massive bull market kicks back off, which will probably happen in the next few months, you are prepared to reap that harvest. As for us, we're very excited about what our investment portfolio will do in the next stage of this bull market, because it's probably going to more than double. And so right now, we are squirreling away as much money as we can because we see what's coming. We see the FOMO that nation states are experiencing in cryptocurrency right now, and I want you to see that as well. Don't FOMO in, don't lose your mind, don't lose your self-control, but understand what's coming and be ready for it. Here's the deal though. One thing that we've got to understand that is always on the horizon is somebody trying to steal from you. Here's the problem. Bitcoin is self-custody generally. We love self-custody. Self-custody is amazing. But there's one issue with that. You have to be the person that deals with the security. When you have a custodian, then the custodian deals with the security. If you have your money in Coinbase, then they deal with the security. You just have to make sure that your account doesn't get hacked. Not having an account hacked is way easier than self-custodying Bitcoin. I'm all for self-custody, but a lot of you guys just frankly aren't there yet. You don't know how a wallet works, and you've got to learn, and we'll teach you. But while you're self-custodying or while you're not self-custodying, and especially if you're not self-custodying and you're on something like Coinbase or Kraken or Uphold or Coinbase or any of these exchanges, you've really really got to invest heavily in your security. NordVPN is the first line of defense that you're going to want to use to make sure that you stay safe while browsing online. It's what we use, and I highly encourage it. You see, you know what NordVPN is, but do you understand why you should use it? NordVPN is your first line of defense to keep yourself private online. It hides your virtual location and it encrypts your connection, keeping you private while you browse online. NordVPN protects you while you browse online, protecting you from cyber threats like man-in-the-middle attacks, packet sniffing, and dangerous Wi-Fi networks. NordVPN allows you to circumvent online censorship from your government, accessing websites that you might not be able to because of your tyrannical overlord government that thinks they're God. NordVPN also allows you to share your data in a safe way so that snoopers can't see the data you're transferring. This is a really big one if you're transferring from a hot wallet like Coinbase or an exchange to a cold wallet. You don't want those snoopers seeing that transaction. It's a big deal. I love wisdom, and I want to teach you guys how to be wise. And the most wise thing I can teach you to do is make sure that you spend a tiny amount of money on NordVPN to make sure that you are safe while you browse online and protect your thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars of investment that many of you have in cryptocurrency. Because the last thing I want you to do is to spend years of your life building up a wealth of cryptocurrency just to have it stolen because you didn't take proper security measures. So take proper security measures. I plead with you to do so, and I do believe that NordVPN is the best place to start. If you go to nordvpn.com/Jeb right now, you can see that they've got an exclusive deal for NordVPN's birthday. Right now, you can get a 2-year plan for NordVPN for $3.33 a month. That's nothing. You've got a 30-day money-back refund guarantee. You've got the high-speed VPN and everything you need to stay safe. They've even got ad blockers. If you have not already signed up for NordVPN and you're an investor in cryptocurrency, I highly recommend that you sign up for NordVPN. Whether you use our link or not, please do use our link. It helps us. But whether you do or not, I want you to sign up so that you are protected and kept safe while you browse online. I do hope that you did enjoy today's video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. And before I go, I do just first want to thank each and every single last one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Oh, I got a real good feeling.